Imagine being told that you have MS. What thoughts would you have? How would that change all the things you've been putting off till later? I know for me, it definitely changed my perspective on lots of things. How would I continue to work, take care of my home, my family? Would my husband abandon me when things got too rough? How long before I'd be in a wheelchair? After all, everybody I have ever known that had MS always wound up in a wheelchair. Why would I expect anything less? But thank God, yes, certain aspects of my life became different, but I've been very blessed, even with all the unknowns and uncertainties. First off, I've been blessed with a husband that loves me enough to take care of me through all the things we have endured during the 20 years since my diagnosis. I've also been blessed with a wonderful team of doctors that listen and do what's needed to keep me as healthy as possible. But most of all, I am so thankful that I serve a God that never leaves me, never forsakes me, and has given me a peace that helps me rise above all the fears and uncertainties, and that says no matter what, He is able. No matter how it may look or what my future holds, I trust God. Now I want to talk a bit about what happened that changed everything. I was just going along, living the life I'd always lived, doing all the things I'd always done. We had moved from Louisiana to Oklahoma a few months earlier. We're still getting settled in. My parents still lived in Louisiana and were both sick with the flu. I decided to go down for a few days to take care of them. After all, I never got sick, so I knew it wouldn't affect me. Well, lo and behold, around the fourth day I was there, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a Mack truck. I knew I'd better drive back home since I knew I already felt terrible, and this was only the beginning. So I made the 8-hour drive back home, went straight to bed. I was so sick, sicker than I had been in a really long time. 2 weeks later, it was all I could do to drag myself out of bed and go back to work. My husband had caught the flu from me after I'd been home a few days and was already back to normal and back to work in less than a week. Here I was barely able to get to from my car to my desk. I drug around for several days. Then I noticed all these subtle changes in my body. I had these strange feelings that affected my entire body. It was so strange, almost like my whole body was vibrating from the inside out. My hands were all fumbly, like I couldn't hold on to anything. My legs felt heavy, almost rubbery. It had even affected my mind. At times I felt like my brain had checked out and I was running on automatic, just going through the motions. I would be in meetings at work and wouldn't have any idea what was discussed once the meeting was over. Things just went from bad to worse. I've never been more afraid in my life. I thought I was going crazy. I finally decided enough was enough. I went to my primary care doctor and told him what was going on. I told him about all the strange things that had been happening. I expected him to just write me off as another basket case. I even told him that I needed to know what was wrong, but that if he told me it was all in my mind, I would just go home and learn to deal with it. But thank God he didn't do that. He listened, then told me he had some idea of what could be going on and would like to schedule me for an MRI. So that's what we did. The very day I had my MRI, his office called and told me that my doctor said I don't have a brain tumor, but he needed to see me the next day. Of course, that caused a lot of fear and anxiety for both me and my husband. But the next day, we went to see him. That's when he showed me the results of my MRI. It showed several areas of my brain that had lesions. That's areas where my own T cells were actually causing destruction of the sheath covering several of the nerves in the front and temporal lobes of my brain. This was what was causing all the strange impulses I was feeling in my body. Then he told me this was probably caused by multiple sclerosis. He scheduled me for several other tests over the next couple of weeks just to rule out other possibilities. So in the end, he decided it was MS. In my next video, I will talk about the next step in the journey. My husband Ralph will be joining me to talk about what MS has meant for his life. I think it will be beneficial to get his input on his initial thoughts about my diagnosis and how this disease changed things for him. So please subscribe and ring the bell so you will be informed when the next video is uploaded. Thanks for watching.